Now we are going to learn how to enter sales in Accu-Travel and create invoices, and getting reports related to sales. Entering sales in Accu-Travel is full of features as well as quite easy to do. This is a list of features you get in the sales form of Accu-Travel. Some features like Acceeder SMS service, invoice clearance, multiple currencies, passport database, and over-invoicing. You can Government taxes details that you enter in sales are withholding tax against commissions from airline and vendor and Punjab service tax applied by Punjab Revenue Authority. You can add these types of records in invoices of Accu-Travel. There are some suggestions and rules that you need to follow while entering invoices. Like you cannot duplicate ticket numbers you enter. You need to have information about financial years, you must fill all the fields that have star in their label and you cannot leave any field blank. Now let's start with the demonstration of entering sales. In this tutorial we will cover the basic training only. For advanced training you can call our customer support office. Go to Sale Windows first. Then we are starting entering a ticket and another service of a passenger of a client. You can see the menu first, we have a saving option, deleting invoice, invoice SMS for sending invoice amount and balance to client, reposting of invoice, linking invoices, refund complete invoices, and clearance. This will be our first invoice so we have to enter the invoice ID first. We can enter the sale tax invoice number as well. Now select Client and Employee if you want to see your sales report employee-wise for commission of employees. Now let's move towards record in invoice. First, we will select Mode of Record. You see a transaction ID here, it is an important element in a record. It is important for refunds. Now moving towards Passport and Passenger Information, you can see a button here representing the database of previous passports you entered. You can search and enter passenger information. You can enter a certain group for managing tour groups and phone no if you want to send greeting SMS to your passenger. Now we are going to enter ticket and vendor information. First the vendor account code, sector of ticket, then 13-digit ticket. No, as I told you that all the fields with stars are mandatory, so we are for now going to fill all that fields except this departure and return date because these are creating a record for you to track the arrivals and departures of passenger to send them greetings. Moving towards the ticket details section, you can see there are self-explained fields here. You just need to enter fare and taxes and match your ticket amount. We have only entered taxes that are used by Pakistan International Airlines. All other taxes will be entered in Other Taxes field. In the payable section we enter the commission we get from vendor or the commission we paid to vendor. Commission receive represent the commission we get from vendor and commission paid represents that extra amount we paid to vendor for issuing the ticket. All other fields are self-explanatory. Moving towards the receivable section we can see there are all fields relevant to client. PSF is only allowed 7% of basic fare by the government, then we will add extra amount in other field. You can see there are fare increase and tax increase fields, these are for over invoicing, and agent code and agent amount represents the amount of the middleman between you and your client. Then you can recheck the receivable, payable, and profit. You can then enter foreign currency and the exchange rate of that currency. You can see there are controls now. We will press Save button and then select whether we want to enter another record in the same record or enter new invoice. So for adding record in the same invoice we have to press New Record. It will take us to Mode field again. If we enter the same mode as previous one, then it will copy the previous record, otherwise we will enter the record manually. So we are going to enter other services in this. In this you can see passenger section is same as ticket. In all modes the passenger section is 100% same. In the particulars or package we enter the description we are selling to client, starting and ending date of service. Now we can see there are 3 vendors option here. It means we can add 3 vendors in a same record for a single passenger or single service. It is like package selling. We are going to enter the amount we are going to pay to vendor, then the code of vendor, and particulars if we need separate particulars to be pasted in ledger of vendor. Then we skip the other two vendors, agent code and amount has the same effect as well as PSF and PST. If we want to put this income in a separate head, then we will enter the other service charges amount and head of the income account. Then we Printing an invoice is very easy. You will just click the print invoice button at the top right of screen. It will get the selected invoice number from the invoice menu automatically. Then you can see there are number of options and patterns for you to select. Then you can select the pattern you want to preview. Then client preview for previewing invoice and print to directly print invoice. You can export these invoice to PDF, Excel, or Word and send it to you clients. In the reports we can see the effects of the sale we entered. In ledgers we can see that the entries are posted in client and vendor statements. You can see that when we open client statement, client account is debited with the relevant entries we entered in sales. Now we will open vendor statement. We can see the relevant effects of entries are in vendor statements are done. When we see the lists of clients and vendors, we can see that relevant balances are updated. Now coming to sales register, we can simply check the sales report by going to sale reports menu. I am going to open simple sale register because this is the most simple register you can find in the sale reports menu. Well, that is all for today. Hope to see you soon with next tutorial. For any kind of further information, please feel free to contact us anytime.